My whole life, I wanted to make it. By the time I was 30 years old, I became a vice president of HR. I had a big house and I had a nice car and I had all of the trappings of success, but also a mountain of self-help books sitting by my bedside table. And I also recognized that I wasn't alone because most of the faces that I saw every day at work, they looked the same as me. The leadership issue of our time is the well-being of people showing up to work every day. Depression has doubled every generation since 1920. In the iPhone generation, we don't leave work. We don't escape from it. And so our life is our work, and our work, it blends into our life.
Moksha, we chose that name because it means to wake up, to be awake. And what that also means is to be free of the suffering that we often have, that we create stories around. It keeps our mind very narrow, and we don't always see the greater good or the higher perspective. But it's the suffering that can really get us stuck, and then where we can actually lose our whole capacity to make a positive difference in the world.
We spend millions and millions of dollars on employee engagement every year. And since we've been measuring employee engagement, it's actually gotten worse. Last year, Gallup reported that 75% of Americans are disengaged at work.
How can we do this work without burning out? How can we lead and supervise in a way that allows them to have a full balanced life? Have pattern interrupts, have breaks, takes time for self-care. How can we recreate how we do this work?
Is it an organization's responsibility to foster community at work? Absolutely, if they want performance. We come into companies and we shape corporate culture. Culture is a shadow of leadership. As we get leaders to become more aligned, more conscious, that cascades throughout the organization. Engaged companies outperform disengaged companies by 2.5 times. Engaged employees try 57% harder. They're 7 times less likely to have safety accidents. The question is not, does engagement matter? That's not the question. The question is, how do we change it? All of the approaches that exist today, they're outside in. But the number one driver of engagement is what's happening inside me as an individual. How am I perceiving the world? So it's the self.
Whether it's a self-compassion practice or gratitude practice, the neuroscience and the science on engagement says if you do these things, you're going to increase engagement. It's just teaching the hard truths and showing them the science behind it. And then people are usually pretty excited because it feels like freedom.
If you have a leader that comes in and that leader is passionate and they are heart-filled and they are compassionate and empathetic and they care deeply about you and they care deeply about themselves, then what happens is they create a whole resonance, like an echo effect that reverberates throughout the organization.
When people are treated as whole human beings, then people's brains work better. They come up with better solutions to complex problems that they've never thought of before. So we've had leaders who've been really resistant of this work, who think it's a little, whatever, I don't know if I believe it. And we just say, try it for 30 days. And some of the most resistant leaders, they would say, this has completely shifted how I see my family, how I see my drive home, how I see my children, how I see my workplace. That's why I do this work, because I see how transformative it is to the workplace, but also to people's lives. And just the gratitude that comes in, people are really grateful.
We're at the forefront of a movement. There's a major paradigm shift in how we think about what work is. We're seeing Google and Target and McKinsey and Company and Aetna and others actually bringing meditation into the workplace. And this is for a good reason, right? Because we know that a happy brain will significantly outperform a neutral or unhappy brain in every single category. What we're talking about is a group of humans showing up every day. They're all vital. They're all charging at the same level. They're all connected vulnerably. They're all able to have hard conversations and give each other feedback. They're all interested in the collective well-being of each other. We cannot fundamentally change the world until we change where we work.